everyone. Welcome to another episode of Diary of a Professional. It is Lou here with my
Hi,
lovely.
Ashley.
My bad, boo. I was just giving you a whole moment.
you,
I
you were.
was. I'm feeling good, you know. Anywho, as per usual, we will start with our gratitude. Would you like to start with yours?
Yeah, I'll start off. I'm grateful for celebrating you, Marlu. We just, had an amazing few days, enjoying our time, falling in love again with the city, and just celebrating you. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
grateful, to celebrate you and this new year for you and what all may bring for you this year. So I'm grateful for that.
Listen, I'm grateful that you were just there, my rider. Like, Ashley, listen, quiet and cute as kept, but Ashley, she's a real one. She's there. Super appreciative. I am super appreciative for the people who remembered about little old me. I'm just,
Why wouldn't
I'm
they?
just happy. It just feels good. It feels right. Didn't feel rushed. Didn't feel forced. I feel like everything is flowing. Flowing just feels right. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Whether it's my own current, the current that the Lord has for me, just feels peaceful and all is well. And I just hope to keep riding that wave. Okay. So I'm just grateful for that. Grateful. So feel rested, feel good. Here we are.
You look good.
Thanks, girl. Thanks, girl. It's not a little, Caribbean tan, but we're gonna make it shake. We're gonna make it look like something. So, whew, this week, let's talk about I guess everything really is a balance or whatever, but for, us ladies nowadays, there's always talk about you're being too this, you're being too that, you're trying to be this. And I am referring to the masculine and the feminine. Um, each, for all intents and purposes, each gender or has a bit of both. You know what I mean? It is a balance. Some will outweigh the others, but we do have masculine energy and we do have feminine energy. But the nowadays, the Miss Independent Women's or whatever, we're just accused of trying to be the man, of being too masculine, and all those things that entails. So let's get into that.
I have a lot of thoughts about this.
Please share your thoughts, love.
um, I feel that
Mm-hmm.
as women, just when women in general had the privilege and the rights, first of all, the
Because
right
there's a difference between the two.
to have education. I'm going to bring it back to history.
Because it's worth it.
Let's
We
bring it
didn't just show up here.
when women were able to have higher level education. It changed the game. Absolutely changed the game for just social constructs in a household, for jobs for women. And honestly, I feel that now here we are in the 21st century.
Yeah,
I feel men feel a little threatened by that. They just do.
they
Um,
do.
the fact that women, and particularly Black women, we have our degrees. We are in such positions. We are entrepreneurs. And I guess for some reason, there are men, I don't want to generalize, there are men who feel threatened by
Mm-hmm.
that because they're not, many of them, or some of them may not feel like they're the breadwinners or feel like they're really being the contributors at all.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Right.
So it boils down to basically roles in a relationship, in a household, and how does that look like? And
Yeah.
um, all I can say, a lot has changed. And for me, if you cannot handle my profession, what I do, and what I bring to the table, you should not be dating me. And I feel that that's a huge issue that I've had over the
Hmm.
years.
Oh, we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
So yeah,
We'll get into that.
that's how I'm
So,
starting this conversation off.
yes, I think an important part of what you said, right? The whole breadwinner aspect of it. So, like, I mean, maybe because I'm an 80s baby, when someone says, oh, the 1950s, that doesn't feel that long ago to me, right? And it wasn't until, I guess it was World War II or whoever, whatever, in the 1950s, that's when women were allowed to have their own bank account. Okay? So, what does that imply? For those of, who might not be able to see the connection. That means we weren't able to, like, really hold our own money. If you wanted to apply for a mortgage, couldn't happen. A lot of benefits that came with that. That means you couldn't get a loan. You couldn't get big sums. You know what I mean? And besides really domestic work, what work would women have really been able to do? You know what I mean? It wasn't until when men went to war and they needed women, people to fill that place. That's when, like, blacks were able to get jobs and women were able to get jobs in, let's say, factories, because the men were at war.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So that's that. That means that there's a level of control attached to the dollar. Okay? So it's really an issue of control.
Uh-huh.
Because if everything I have to do is attached to what you're willing to give me, we're not equals in this relationship. If I have to ask you, access to funds, we're not equals. We're not.
No.
And now it's a situation now where we can be equals. You know what I mean? We still don't make as much as they do to the dollar, but we can earn our own. And that's what we did, because a lot of times, that's for all those people who are like, ooh, divorce rates are higher now. Yeah, grandma couldn't go. Because what was she going to do? Live on the street, prostitute herself? Where was she going to go? So regardless of how bad it was, people got to survive. So yeah, she chose not to stay. I mean, she chose to stay. We don't have to do that anymore. So now I feel like for us as women, a lot of times money is freedom. Oftentimes for men, money is control, right? So now we have the freedom to do what we want. Now we can feel and say what we want without consequences or repercussions of what you're going to do with the money that you earn that I need. Not a thing anymore. So you're attaching those things, and now somehow you feel less masculine because I make more. Because in this situation, we can do role reverse, right? Instead of being the housewife, we can now be the breadwinner. But because maybe some don't feel like they have control, you're not going to find in abundance men being the house husband while the woman is the breadwinner.
Mm-mm.
Somehow you feel emasculated.
Mm-hmm.
When these are all roles, like, let's come down to it. Cooking, it's a life skill. Everyone should know how to cook. You should know how to boil water. You should know how to fry an egg, make a pot of rice, pasta.
You should not need a woman to do those things.
No.
You should expect that from yourself as a human. As a
As
human.
a whole human.
And then you looking at a woman, wait, you can't cook? My guy, you need to cook. What if you do not have a woman in your life? And if you do have a woman in your life, you telling me you can't boil some water? Like, you can't do it? Or you expect a woman to do it for you?
No, he can grill though, I'm sure. I'm sure he can grill.
So I don't understand why, if men do not, or these men who have issues with these kind of roles, why they cannot play the house man, quote
Right.
unquote.
Right.
If it's such a big deal, if it's such a big deal, but why can't they? If they're not the breadwinner, why can't you? What's the issue?
Right. Right. Yes.
Uh, I just feel, just whatever works for you in your relationship works for you.
For
Okay.
sure.
Whatever roles you want to take on, X, Y, and Z, fine. I'm not here to judge anyone how they handle their relationships or their dating
Right.
life.
Because you could be like a teacher, and which is a great profession, but we know you're not coming home with 100K. You know what I mean? As opposed to maybe your woman is a doctor. You both are doing very important work, but if we're talking about the money, the number, no, it's not equal, and it's not close.
It will never be equal.
No.
So I don't know what will make men feel comfortable in that, unless they're very secure in themselves. You know, I don't, I truly don't know what men will do if those men are really comfortable with themselves. Because, like I
Right.
say, like it will always constantly be a feeling of being emasculated. And even then, sometimes I do feel that these men maybe don't even make the relationship feel safe for a woman to feel feminine, to be feminine. And that's a whole nother thing too.
Ashley,
That's a whole nother thing
talk the
too.
things, Ash. Because that's really what it is.
Yeah. Why do you think she's all Miss Independent? Are you making it a safe environment for her to fall back and step into her femininity? Or does she feel like I still got to get this done and do this and do that and do this and do that and take care of this? Are you
More
leading
time.
fairly as a man in this relationship?
Right.
So those are things that need to be considered too as well. And I don't know if it's truly considered at times.
No, I think it becomes so easy to make it about the money and the paycheck or whatever that it's kind of like, okay, big spender, you got it. But before I allowed you to be that person, to be my significant other, I already knew those things about you. You know what I mean? So it shouldn't be a factor. I don't know if, certain things make it apparent, like if you're going out, to eat and it's like, ooh, I can't really afford this. Or if, oh, I want to do this thing and, what might be not so much of, an issue for us as females to spend might be for them. And then they start feeling inadequate. Newsflash, we already knew. We already knew. Okay? Just saying. I know things are definitely tougher, not in our parents' time, but, somehow they were able to make things work. Like, I know people, on smaller budgets, sometimes it's like, are you smart with your money? Because trust me, you can make a lot and have none either. You know what I mean? So are you making the smart decisions so that it doesn't feel like you're strapped? And, I think that sometimes is more your insecurity than something about the relationship and your partner. But, a lot of times it's easier to just deflect on someone else.
Yep.
As opposed to, your own discipline. You know what I'm saying? Are you very whimsical and you go off of emotion as opposed to making sound decisions, in real time and reflecting on things so that you can be seen as a leader. You know what I mean? Are you a hothead? Are you someone who just flies off the handle? Are you someone who doesn't weigh all options? When dealing with certain things, when it comes to maybe an argument, are you willing to put your ego aside? Or are you just flying off the handle and you have to be right? You know what I mean? And it's kind of so I'm dealing with a child. So I'm raising a child. So now you're not even the female in the relationship, you're the child.
Pretty much. That's exactly what's happening.
And those are the things I think that they don't realize forces us to exert our masculine energy, to be more dominant, to be take control, because somebody has to. And I'm going to give you the chance, but I'm also not going to allow myself to go down in a sinking ship if I see the life raft right there. That's crazy to me. In the sake of making you look good.
And feel good? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, as well, if you have a woman who's doing her thing and doing great, wouldn't that encourage you and motivate you to want to do better, to propel forward and focus and be I admire this woman so much. I gotta do my thing. I'm slacking. She's
right.
reminding me I'm slacking.
And that's okay. We can be each other's motivators.
Right. It doesn't have
not
to
your
be
competition.
Doesn't have to be a competition, because it's not a competition. It should not be a power struggle.
Not in a relationship. No, not with your equal. No, not with your partner.
And that's how men see it. They see now as us as well as the hunter, because men are hunters, right? They see us now as women, the hunters too. So now we're competing. And that's not the case.
No, we don't want to. I don't want to.
The truth is, a bitch is tired.
Okay. Cue Tamla Man and her exhausted ass, because y'all running her ragged. Y'all running us ragged.
I'm tired. I hope y'all feel that in your soul, how
and
tired.
The options are few. Okay?
I'm tired. So I'm not out here wanting to be so tay. Gotta get this done. No.
Right.
But if you're not giving me any other option, then yeah.
Right. And if y'all know little old Ashley, I mean, she's come a long way, so proud. But if Ashley has to put her foot down and raise her voice, you have gone too far. Biggs, you gone too far.
Too far.
Okay? Because she's not that girl. She don't even give off that kind of energy. She's a boss in her own right, and she has a quiet confidence. Make no mistake, but she's not overexerting. She's not walking with her dick out. She's not.
And thank you, by the way. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, I've met so many men who are intimidated by me. As soft as I am, as feminine as I am, they're still intimidated.
Yes. From the getting to know you, the regular question stage, it's kind of you see them starting to clam up with every question, every new piece of information they acquire, because oh, she's out of my league. Oh, she's this, she's that. You're making all these assumptions based off of what I do versus who I am.
And it's funny, I've had this question a few times with a few guys who have been on just a few dates.
Right.
Just a few dates. the one major question that happens is, well, what can I do for you? Then what's the point? What can I do for you? Why should I really date you if you seem like you have everything together? What can I really do for you? You got a job, you got a place to live, you got a card, what can I offer you? And I'm like, wait, this is a thing? And it's a recurring thing I was dealing with. I'm like, wait. And men are quick to say, oh, I want a woman who's a boss. I want this. And she gotta be independent. She gotta make her own. And then they have one and it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
toxic femininity.
I almost want to play devil advocate and say, I feel bad for these dudes who feel that all they have in this life to provide a woman is some money and some shelter and like luxe living. Because, I mean, for me, that's not what I am looking for in partnership. Sure, I don't want to be like holding your load because I have my own. But I'm not expecting you to pay my way. Like, I don't think I'm going to meet someone tomorrow and be like, girl, I can retire. Like, cash in my 403B, I'm good, I'm set. No. And I think it almost becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy when you feel like, I got to take her out on the nice estate, got to provide for her in this way. And then if all else doesn't work out or whatever, you slacking, then you're useless and no longer of service. Like, that's sad. Like, that's so sad.
I know.
It's just, I want better for y'all, and hopefully for the women that put them in that position to feel like this is all they're good for, and then that they cannot tap into their softer sides. Like, it's not a safe space for them. You know what I mean? Like, they have to be those hard dudes. They have to just, be that alpha all the time, or, being vulnerable will be used against them. I'm sorry. Like, I couldn't imagine, and even amongst other men, you know what I mean? Like, how many times do they get to sit around, like, they could watch football for 5-6 hours together in a game and do whatever, but do y'all get to be like, yo, I had a day, you know what I mean? And not just like bashing on whatever the situation was, but really get into like your feelings, not like what was done to you, but like, how do you feel about what was done to you? And to get something, constructive back, and not just like, fuck that bitch, or find another one, because maybe he really love that girl. She just might have some ways, you know what I mean? Someone who you really can talk to, like in abundance, where you could be like, bruh, let's go off. Because if I had something, I could be like, Ashley, girl, meet me at such and such. We got to wait for the drink to come. Bartender gets the order. Take a sip. Deep breath. Girl. You know what I mean? And know that it's a safe place. Know that I can get what I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's a shame because I feel like men, once again, as we bring it all around, we're all masculine and feminine. We all. I even tell my teenagers, we all have testosterone and estrogen. Like, we are all,
Yes.
I said, but men, of course, have more testosterone, and women, we have more estrogen, so we are all masculine and feminine. And there should be a space for men to have that soft masculinity, to have that space for them to open up, be vulnerable, express how they feel as well. It's really a shame,
Yeah.
and this is why they do not know how to communicate well. They've never really had the chance to express themselves because they're so focused on being the breadwinner and making money and being the providers. Men do not show emotions.
No.
That they haven't even had a chance to really express, like, know the other side of them that well, or allow
Mm-hmm.
people to like come into that, or
Yeah.
know about that. Male
Yes.
friendships are so different. Like, there's a reason why men have, once again, y'all, I'm just generalizing. They have difficult time coping with certain issues in their lives because they don't have a safe space compared to women. Women will have their little group, you know, can express themselves, have that safe space, and they're able to bounce back.
Right.
Compared to men, they take a long time. They struggle with it because they're not able to even express their thoughts.
Yeah.
It's not allowed, quote unquote, for them to share.
No. But make no mistake, those feelings do manifest in other ways, whether they realize it, whether it's, drinking, extracurricular activities,
Yeah.
you extra angry and moody, whether you're losing weight, putting on weight, them things is going to come out regardless. So even if it's not coming out your mouth, trust me, it's being exercised out of your body, and it's not always in the healthiest of ways. And that's why sometimes if you can't talk to someone, because, everyone has their own things that they're going through, right? But if I let you know what I'm going through and you see certain behaviors, you can kind of help check it because you know the source of it. You know what I mean? But if you can't even speak the source of your problems and your issues, then you just look like an angry black man. Then you just look like this. Then you just look like someone who's lazy because you don't want to get up out the bed. And no one can speak to what's going on with you because you can't speak to what's going on with you.
No.
And people are not mind readers. You know what I mean? And I don't know. In those kind of senses, they have it tough. And I don't envy that position because it's not only, women telling them this is what they should be, other men, society's telling them this is what they're supposed to be. And I feel like there's very few instances that we have seen, in society. And this is just outward, so like we had the conversation about people like Prince or whatever, he's wearing heels and bell bottoms and his cheeks is out, but people wasn't questioning his masculinity. They knew he was that dude. In our time, I would say maybe like a little Uzi Vert. He marches to the beat of his own drum. He does his own thing. He's like a true rock star. You know what I mean? I don't feel like people are checking him like, ooh, he, whatever. And it's so quick. People are so quick to just equate being in touch with your feminine with being gay, which is so...
It's sad.
It is. Might not be the lifestyle for you, but for that to be, just like the easy, insult. Even women be like, you a bitch. Like, you gay. You have to be gay because, God forbid, you're allowing your emotions to show. That's not manly. So you just have to. A bitch or gay. And that's just not just someone feeling their feelings and expressing them. That's crazy.
How dare they? How dare they? So yeah, it's good that we were able to say that too for men as well. We both have it hard.
Yeah.
We both have our difficulties in terms of that. But I do hope we start changing that view. I don't know when, because this is so embedded in us. These roles have been ingrained in us. But as we continue to move forward, women are going to continue to just be these breadwinners and play quote unquote masculine roles.
Yes. Let me give a different perspective also now. Okay. So, it's my birthday this week, whatever. And one of my aunts had called me or whatever. And she's, all the regular birthday blessings and, be there for your kids or whatever. Cause she's like, you're the mom and you're the dad and you got to be this and you got to be like good with them, but you got to be strong with them and this and that. And she's telling me all these things, right? And I think that's what made me think of this because I was just like, no, I'm their mom. I am their mom, and I can only be that.
Mom. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It like I know, especially for those of us out there with with kids or whatever, like the mom, the nurturer, the soft one, and of course, dad's gonna be that too. But it's almost like I can only be me. Like you cannot expect me to be a man because I can do anything and everything under the sun for my kids. Can't be a man. Like people don't. I don't need people calling me on Father's Day because I'm not a dad. I'm not. Like, I trust me, I never want to see my kids hurt, never want to, and I guess, it's like the dad is the one who's supposed to like toughen them up and do all those things. And I guess I could do that too. I don't want to. I
Yep.
can't say I'm the best at it, but like we're also not just, I don't know, like soft shooting with it. Because to me, as my mom and the moms I've seen, they've been more the strict parent, the more the enforcer. It hasn't been the dad, to be
Mhm.
honest. Yeah, I mean, he might be the one to, shoot a basketball with you or whatever, and so, but I can't say that that's, even when I had my father, he was a sole parent, and in
That's
saying that, I also resent the fact that when there are some people who, especially lately, like single moms, because I'm a single mom. Oh, that's why our boys are too soft. They're taking on your ways. That's why they're coming out. The level of ignorance, the
mm-hmm.
level of ignorance, because I know everybody knows a single mom out here. And especially, and it's always into regards to the boys. It's always in regards to the boys. You know what I'm saying? And why he talk like that? Why he move like that? I know so many people who are homosexual who comes from a very two-parent family home with a very alpha male father.
Let's talk about it.
So when we're speaking about the masculine and the feminine, and it's just such an easy cop out to just be like, no, it's on the mom
Mm-hmm.
because what he's seen you doing your hair, got your nails done, like he sees you in heels and now he just has to be that. He just wants to be that. Where do y'all come up with this? Where do y'all come up with this?
I feel people just need a reason for something. I feel
Mm-hmm.
people always just need to compute something to be like, this is the
Right.
reason why. And a lot of times it's none of their damn business. But I feel like they just need to compute, well, this person's like this because X, Y, and Z. It's like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if it's just human nature. For some reason, we just need to always have some type of answer to certain things, which doesn't make sense at all. But it's
Right.
like, but that's it. That has to be it.
Right. 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 Like, did she become a single mom because she chose to, or because the father he chose to not be present, so she was forced to become one? Like, let's take accountability in certain places. Um, Even are you being that influence to that, boy with the single mom that in your life but you feel like, oh nah, he this, he that, like what? I don't
Mm.
understand. Maybe some of these boys are just more comfortable expressing their feelings because they have been allowed to, you
Given the
know?
space to.
Yeah. And I've honestly seen a lot of single moms who even go harder on their boys because it's like, life is tough, this is what it's going to be, and they
Yeah.
feel the need to be mom and dad. I personally do not. I have to be a parent to my child, but you know what I mean? Or my children,
Mhm.
but you know what I mean? It's just like, it's like, I don't know. So when it comes to the girls and it's like, ooh, she a hoe, where's her dad? He wasn't in her life or whatever, or she ain't get enough hugs. She ain't,
Mm.
if anything, that's forced her to see that she's had to be, the man for herself because maybe she didn't have that at home. So let yourself be a soft place for her to land, where she doesn't feel like she has to be mom and dad.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. What is your takeaway for people out here listening to this, Marla?
My takeaway is I want to be in my soft girl era, but I can only be as soft as you allow me to be, as you allow for me to be vulnerable and safe with my feelings and emotions. And then you can have the pinkest parts of me. But until then, I'm going to do the prudent thing for myself and be who I need to be until I can see that you're worthy and you're capable of doing those things.
I love that. I agree. I feel for me as well, I'm going to continue being assertive and going for those goals and not feeling like I need to hold back myself because a man would not want to be with me because of these things. To feel like I wouldn't be as feminine or I will be too intimidating. And I want people to also who are listening that we should always just have a safe space for each other.
Right.
Men and or women. We should have a safe space for each other that we can really lead in our femininity or masculinity. I think that's the main takeaway with society today. It's just not a safe space. It's just not.
No. Good luck, y'all.
For real.
We all need it.
For real. But anyhow, let us know y'all thoughts.
Yes.
We're
curious.
What
are you currently tapped into? Which kind of energy, you tapped into? Where do you want to be with it?
Yeah, where do you want to be and where are you now? And why are you where you are now?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Reflect on that a little bit and let us know. Tell us what you come up with.
Comment, like, subscribe. Till next time, y'all.